Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alina, I'm an author and I post videos on YouTube about books and writing. Today I'm back with a new bullet journal video and I'm going to show you my January setup that I use to track my writing, my editing and my entire work life and some of the personal. But before we get into that, let's go through my December setup, which I haven't shown on this channel yet. It hasn't changed much from the previous month. I used kind of the same trackers, but all within a more festive Christmas theme. As you can see here, I did very well on my reading. Not so great on YouTube, but I did better in the second half of the month, which I'm really proud of. And I kind of reworked my weeklies a little bit throughout the month, and I wasn't exactly happy with my structure, so I switched to something completely new by the end, but I'll talk about it more in my January setup. My theme for January is not surprising. It's a winter wonderland theme, but focusing on the wilder side of things. So I went with this watercolor painting of a wolf in a snowy scenery. I loved how this turned out, although the Arctic wolf I drew is not the best ever. But I was happy with the result in the end, especially because I struggled a bit with what to draw on my welcome page for January. I know I wanted it to be a winter theme, but I just needed something calm and relaxing, and I thought this sort of scenery with snow falling and trees covered in it would be just great. So I glued this in because I decided it's better than to use watercolors directly in the bullet journal because it buckles so much. And then I wrote January on top and added a little calendar on the bottom part, thinking it will help me with setting up everything else in the other pages, which still did not prevent me from making a lot of mistakes. I had other ideas for how I'd write titles, but then I wanted to make it simple and easy for myself, so I went with this all caps font and then handwriting the same word in a color right down the middle. This is my goals page for the month. You will only see a few of them because I set this up in advance, even if I didn't edit the video fast enough, and I hadn't actually decided on all of my goals. This is my releases and promotions overview for the month, along with my time-restricted eating. If you don't know what that is, I'm trying to eat within an interval that's 10 hours max throughout the day. So if I start at 8 a.m., I will eat until 5-6 p.m. and then not eat anything until the next day. I will drink water and other things, but I'm trying to stick to that. It helps me sleep better. It helps with everything. So I try to do it every single month. It's pretty easy to track in the bullet journal, and yeah, I enjoy doing it. I think the benefits are worth the effort of checking the time before I eat. By the way, I don't know if I told you before, but since I got this knitted eraser, knittable eraser as you want to call it, it's a Koh-i-Noor one. It's not the best, but I still love it a lot because it erases everything and there's nothing for me to clean up afterwards, which I love. The second page, as always, has my sleep tracker on it, and then my social media followers, of which I track for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter for several accounts. I use the same kind of titling, and on the social media followers I still managed to mess it up a bit somehow. This is why I should always do it first in pencil, but then I get too confident and this happens and I jam the last word in. But you know, it's okay. Like, the color on top makes it look less bad. Not by much, but it looks less bad. That's the moral of the story. I track my YouTube channels, both my author channel and my art channel. I track Instagram for both of them as well, and then I track Facebook and Twitter for my author platform and for my book blog, that's Eyes on Books. I only track these at the beginning and the end of the month, and then I try to see if it's an upward or downward trend. It's been downward on Facebook and Twitter lately. I think a lot of spam accounts disappeared and a lot of other inactive accounts disappeared as well, because for my author account a lot of names just disappeared entirely and the numbers dropped by a few hundreds, and this happens periodically when they clean out inactive and spam account, which is fine by me. Now onto my writing tracker, which I haven't changed much in the past few months. I enjoy this the way it is, and I did mess it up because why not? I track numbers of words per day, and then I track how many books I've completed. And I went back to books as doodles to color in whenever I finish one project. You will notice that both for this spread and the next one, I was so overconfident in how many projects I was going to finish. Well, actually that's not it. I started doodling the little books and I kind of got carried away with them and didn't realize how many there were. And then at the end of it, I was like, I will never write this many in a month, but it's too late to do anything about it, and they look cute. So let's just move on, I guess. That's the way to go. Next up, it's my editing and publishing tracker, which is more of an editing tracker this month than anything else. I don't know why I still write publishing there. I guess I still expect myself to color in published books at some point. But I haven't really done it last month, but you know, fingers crossed I do it properly for once. For editing, I go by hours of editing. I think that's the best way to track it, to realize how much time I invest in it. And as you'll soon see, I really messed up super badly with the numbers, the days, and the days of the week. It was so bad that I had to go over it with my Posca pen and let it dry, and I went back later on and added the days of the week. But I don't know what it was with this setup. I kept messing up when it came to the calendar for the month. But yeah, I add hours that I will then color in when I edit every day, and then I doodled a bunch of books, and I intend to color this in whenever I'm done with an editing project, and then when I'm done publishing a book. I will go top to bottom for editing and bottom to top for publishing. I drew a lot of little books, so I'm safe. It's not like I have too few for what my January plans are. I mean, I have 3 to 4 projects to write on and 3 to 4 to edit and about 1 or 2 to publish, so should be enough. And if there aren't, there's enough room to draw in some more books. Not that I think I'll need them. I'm not that optimistic to think I'll need them, but you know, just in case, there's room. There's always room. Next up is my double spread dedicated to books. On the left hand side, I just write in the title, author, and star rating for what I've read that month, and I color in the little doodles every time I complete the book. On the right hand side, I actually have the page tracker where I fill in how many pages I've read in a day. And the initial concept for this, I've mentioned it before, came from Books and Lala, and then I kept adapting it until it was something I could use. I drew little books again in different shapes. I have 15 of them. My goal is to read 6 or 7 books, but because last month I didn't have enough ornaments and I had to stack them in, I thought I'll just draw 15. There's room for more, but you know, I'm covered if I read more than I intended to this month. Just as an FYI, although I'll go into goals in a later video in the beginning of January, I do hope to read at least 70 books this year. So if I read 6 to 7 books a month, I should be fine. I don't mind reading more because we all know what happened in August when I broke my leg and I read 2 books the entire month. So if I read more in a month and less in another, I'm perfectly fine with that. There's absolutely no problem as far as I can tell. Starting last month, I increased the number of pages per day that I track because I ran out of space 2 months ago. Well, I kind of ran out of space last month too, but only by a bit. So now it goes as high as 400 pages per day. Other than that, this tracker is unchanged. If you have any questions about any of these trackers, please feel free to ask them. I will reply to the best of my abilities. Next up is my YouTube planning spread. I use this for both channels, the author and the art one. And I draw the calendar. I divide each day into 2. The top part is for the author channel, the bottom part is for the art channel. And I color code the types of content I produce. I have a color code for videos, one for live streams, and one for guest appearances on other people's live streams. And that gives me a very colorful overview of how active I've been in any month on YouTube. I do pencil in videos as a way of planning ahead. And I decided to pencil them in after writing them in fine liner and then not doing them. And this spread has been working great so far. I don't think I will ever change it unless I find something that's more efficient. And that's it. Hopefully by the end of January this will be very, very full and colorful at the same time. I tried to use the same pen, but it was dried up on the fine liner side, so I went with a darker color. Like I said, a lot of things went wrong with the planning of this spread, and I will choose to consider it the last bit of nonsense I got from 2018, which, as you know, wasn't my best year ever. And then the last thing I added here is my color key for the types of content for each channel. Another thing I did was to use the same color for videos on both channels because otherwise I mess up and use the wrong color on either of them. So yeah. This is my YouTube spread. It's pretty straightforward and it works great for me. So the last spread I'm setting up in this video is my weekly. Like I said, I changed it. It's no longer a horizontal display of the week. It's a vertical one. I've also reduced my gratitude space and I'm trying to condense my thoughts. I write things I'm grateful for 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And other than that, on my left side, I have my focus, which is just the one thing I want to concentrate on for the week, and a weekly to-do with tasks that are not specific to a day. They just have to be done that week. And I'm using the same sort of hanging lights for the days of the weeks, for their names and the date. I started doing this last week. I've seen it in another bullet journal setup, which I don't know where I've seen it because I see dozens of such videos and I should really write them down. And I've used my Posca pen a lot since I got it for Christmas, and I absolutely love it. It's way better than my gel pen, way better. I enjoy it a lot. And I enjoy this spread. It's the second time I'm drawing it, and last week it was just amazing using it. I don't know, it's more, it's cleaner in a way, easier to follow, something like that. The space that you see there that's empty, it's my doodle space, and I usually doodle on Monday mornings, so I didn't want to doodle ahead of time. What I will put in there will probably be ice skates, because I kind of, in a way it's because I miss it, and in a way is to remind myself I have to work hard to stop being afraid of stuff that might potentially hurt me, because the idea of slipping is terrifying these days after I slipped on wet grass and broke my leg. So hopefully if I draw them and stare at them for a week, I will want to be skating by this time next year. I don't know, something like that. This is the final flip through. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you find this useful, and Happy New Year to you. Hope it brings you everything you've wished for, and I will see you all very soon, probably the second day of 2019, and until then, have fun, stay healthy, and be super happy. Bye!